Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Live. Thank you for all of the amazing congratulations on my newest journey of life. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. Thank you for being here. I have a lot of things to catch you up on. So, some of the things I want to talk about, we got married on the new moon. We had a very magical time. So, some of the things I do want to tell you guys the details of what happened, but also I want to kind of weave in the greater story around it, right? Because, we're all like exactly where we need to be. And as you guys know, just 6 months before, um, I thought I was a lesbian. So, we all end up exactly where we're meant to be. And I'm so grateful that I'm where I am right now. So, I guess let's first start with I'll talk a little bit, I guess, about the wedding day, and then I'll go back and talk about my bridal slash bachelorette party. I am so tan right now. I was cooking myself in the sun so that I would look nice in my white dress. But don't look too closely because I look like a reptilian on my back because I'm peeling. The lesbian live was amazing, though. It really was. Wasn't it a good one? I mean, I'm honest with where I'm at every moment. And okay, so let's talk a little bit. We'll get right into like the wedding day, all of that stuff, and then I'll kind of bounce back to the party. So, I had the most amazing wedding day. It was so incredible, like, everything came together so perfectly, everything even though leading up to it, there was some, little things that could happen that could have, possibly been disrupting. So, the day before, my husband was flying in because, as you guys know, he lives in Louisiana, and so he was flying in and, figures that his flight gets delayed, and a couple weeks earlier, I had told him, you know, that, he kinda, like, jokingly said, like, "Oh, well, if my flight's delayed, then you guys go have fun without me." And I'm like, "Oh, no." Like, this is the ultimate rom-com trope ever, which is the race to the wedding. The race to the wedding is may we see the ring? I heard this story about it a couple weeks ago. Okay, so my ring is absolutely stunning and beautiful, and I'll show you guys and tell you guys more. It's gonna be hard to see it, I think, on YouTube because it's just so bright and sparkly and beautiful, and oh my god, the lights. Um, it's easier to see on TikTok. Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about the ring. I'll get there. But in the meantime, I was telling him, like, oh no, like, if your flight's delayed, this is the race to the wedding trope that is every single rom-com. And that's like the hangover. Every movie is like the race to the wedding. And there's like multiple different versions of race to the wedding. It's either like the people who are getting married are racing to the wedding, or people who are trying to stop a wedding race to the wedding. And this is like one of the number one tropes. So when he said that jokingly a couple weeks ago, I was like, no, I don't care what you have to do to get here. If your flight gets delayed, you're getting here. And but the weird thing is that his flight was supposed to come in, around, like, 9:50 something. For some reason, for the last months and months and months since he booked the flight, I've been saying he's not getting here till midnight the night before, and I kept saying he's not getting here till midnight. So then the day of, when I was, like, looking at his flight, I'm like, "Oh, like, that's weird. He's actually supposed to be getting here earlier than I had expected." Well, you could imagine that he did not get there until around midnight, a little bit after actually, but so that was interesting for the last couple months that I kind of just had been saying that, and I had the wrong time in my mind of when he was going to arrive. So I felt really confident when his flight was getting delayed because I was like, "Well, you know what? I thought he was getting here at midnight anyway, so I think he's gonna get here around that time." Now, as you know, if you guys have looked on Instagram, you should check out, the Instagram because there was a hard launch. It was a hard as fuck launch. Okay. You know, we have the soft launch and then we have the hard launch. And this was the hardest fuck launch because the full face launch of um, him and his face, his cute face, is full on the Instagram. So, um, so anyway, he is. You need to see. Yeah, come back. You need to go to Instagram and see for your visual. Okay, open it on your phone. You need a visual for the story. Okay, and so basically, you know, as I told you guys, he's in the military. He works out hard. So earlier that day, the day before the wedding, when he's supposed to fly through, oh, gorgeous couple, thank you. He is working out, going hard, probably because he realizes that he's not going to be working out for the next couple days while he's in LA. And he hears and feels a pop in his inner thigh. I'm like, oh, great. He tore a muscle. Thankfully, he's very strong and resilient, has been through a lot. So I was obviously worried. I started Googling, seeing like, you know, if it's a tear, if it's a pull, what's going to happen? What is the process? You know, kind of really with those things, you just have to wait them out anyway. And I was looking up that it's pretty rare that you're going to need surgery, that you just kind of have to wait it out. So I was like, okay, well, all right. He's injured. Now his flight's delayed. And then my sister had just flown in. You love that you did the flower purse. Oh, yeah, thank you. Chelsea created that, like, little unique bouquet for me that I've never seen anything like it before. What did I do to my hair? My hair is highlighted. My hair has been freshly done. Oh, he said, "A beautiful couple. Congratulations. Much love to both of you." Thank you. Did he really tear a muscle? Well, he, has not gone to the doctor, so it's hard to say, but from what I had read it seems that it could be. I thought it was just a tore pants story because he was so jacked. No, so jacked that actually he tore his own leg, not a pant leg. Um, did you really only know each other for 6 months before meeting? Yes. So we met basically on the winter solstice and got married basically on the summer solstice. So yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but I hear stories all the time of people saying whenever, like from the moment that I met him and things were moving very quickly, all of a sudden these people like everywhere were popping up and were like, "Oh, I met my husband and we got married in less than 6 months and we've been together for 20 years or we've been together for 30 years. We've been together for 16 years." And so it's interesting that once he came into my life, that's all the stories that kept popping up and I kept being surrounded by just like random people. I went to Conscious Life Expo in February and like everyone that I had mentioned that I was like, I'm probably actually going to be leaving LA. And they're like, "Oh, I moved in with my husband after 3 weeks, 25 years ago." Everybody's like, "Well, when you know, you know." And I was like, okay, so this is, the energy that was being mirrored back to me. Okay, so he does make it here, but by the time he gets his connecting flight, they text him. He had already missed the connecting flight, to be able to board the next one because his original flight was delayed. And even though my sister was doing Reiki for the flight, for him to get on the flight. My sister's like doing Reiki. She got a Reiki grid. I'm like, I know he's getting here at midnight. Like this is happening. So then he lands and he gets a text from the airline saying like, your flight has been moved or like replaced. Your new flight will have you arriving at 7 in the morning tomorrow. Well, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable, actually. We could have made it work maybe, but it just would have been really difficult because the airport is an hour in the opposite direction of the courthouse. And we were already driving to Santa Barbara, which is 2.5 hours from LA. So I'm like, this is unacceptable. So me and my sister are like, we've got his location up on just my phone is just open looking at his location, and we're watching him get through the airport, and we're like, "You need to go to the gate and you need to ask to be on standby." And my sister's like, "Hold on, let me tap into the Reiki." And she's like, "Okay, there's 2 potential people that could be working at the gate." So she, kind of got like the psychic message using Reiki, and she's like, "Okay, there's either a woman or a man." She's like, "If it's the man's gonna do it." She's like, "The woman is gonna be a bitch." And so, but I'm trying not to, because he has great intuition, so I don't wanna tell him, like, "You need to go to this person," or "It can't be this person." Um, but I was like, "If there's 2 people, go to the man." And, so he's, with his torn muscle, walking around the airport to get to the gate, and me and my sister cannot do anything. We are suspended, even though there's stuff that needed to be done. I needed to go. Um, did you tell him to go to the man? I said, if there's 2 people, if there's a woman and a man, then go to the man. And that was the energy my sister was getting, that if it was a guy, he was going to be like, "Yeah, bro, we'll get you right on military." And, and I'm like, "Tell them you're in the military." And like, my husband's so sweet and humble and like doesn't even do like the military pre-boarding. I was looking up what airlines are going to allow spouses of military to pre-board because I want to use that. But he is like, not he doesn't use those things or, like, use it in that way. So I'm like sending a voice note. I'm like, "You need to make sure that you tell them that you're in the military." I'm like, "Limp up to the gate." I'm like, "Play up the injury. Tell them that you are getting married tomorrow. You can't wait till tomorrow." And so, then I'm watching. I have, just like I said, I had his, like, location up on the phone, and me and my sister are doing stuff, and we keep, like, looking over at his location because 'cause I'm like, "Oh my god." I really didn't doubt that he was gonna make it, but he said, "You're the perfect partner for him." I mean, honestly, AJ. So AJ came to the wedding. Aw, watching with Copper. Hi, Copper. Um, so basically I see him and I'm trying not to, like, bug him too much because I'm like, he already said and did what he can do. There's nothing else that he can do except he's talked to them at the gate. I just need to, like, hold the energy. My sister holds the energy. Chelsea holds the energy. We're powerful witches. We just need to hold the energy that he's getting on this plane. And so then I see him, like, walking further from the gate. I'm like, "He's moving. He's moving." And then he's, like, walking further from the gate. And I'm like, "No. Oh, no, he's getting further from the gate. They're boarding." I'm like, "No, no, no. He's probably getting further from the gate so that he can get online." The venue and reception looked breathtaking. Oh, thank you. So the venue is actually just Santa Barbara Courthouse. This is become one of the top wedding destinations. So it was a courthouse wedding, but it was a beautiful courthouse wedding. And then we went to lunch after. So I'll get there. But he gets on the plane, and then so I'm, like, looking at his location. Once I see him moving, I'm like, "Okay, he has to be waiting online. It's gonna work out." So then I start, like, putting stuff in the dishwasher and, like, I'm like, "Okay, now I feel like he's getting on there." I know, I am so tan. I'm not more tan than I was at the wedding, though. I think it's just darker. Also, Eden was here, and we're gonna talk about the party too. So, because Eden hosted the most incredible, amazing party ever. So, I see Frank moving. Oh, alright. Well, I guess I said his name. Anyway, so I've been trying to protect the name. Anyway, I mean, there's many of them in the world. Ah, shucks. Anyway, so, well, the cat is out of the bag. The name drop. Yeah, I know. I noticed it right away. It is the hard launch day. The guests can see how big a deal. Oh, Santa Barbara's gorgeous. The great location. Thank you. You can still call him Mr. Ultra. Yeah, Mr. Ultra guys, you've heard nothing. Wow. So, um, so then I see, him moving, and then the next thing I, like, start putting stuff in the dishwasher, and then I see him, like, his location moving down the runway, and I'm like, "Oh, thank God. Are you on the plane?" And then I'm like, "Okay, I can finish getting stuff done," and thankfully, he makes it there, around midnight, which was perfect, exactly as I thought that he would, and, JK Ultra agents never tell. Um, so so basically, then, it is the wedding day, and I was so lucky to be able to get my makeup done by Patty Dubroff, and so I actually still have to post a podcast with her, and Patty is, like, the world-renowned makeup artist. Like, she has done everybody for the last 20 years. She's, like, Margot Robbie's personal makeup artist and all of these people. She's, like, the coolest person, amazing person ever. I have an interview that I haven't edited yet with her, and she's just an incredible person. So for her to do this amazing, like, ultimate gift honor ever to have her do my makeup for the wedding was so perfect. So I got to go there in the morning, and then, so there was a miscommunication when we were about to leave for the wedding. So there had been a little bit of, stuff around the ring situation. So I was unaware that Chelsea had been working in the shadows and trying to help to find the perfect ring for me. So I was under the impression that there's, like, no ring 2 weeks ago. And I was like, being nonchalant about it, and then it, like, struck me as my period was about to start. Then I was like, "There's no fucking ring." And then so I start panicking about the ring situation, and I'm like, "We're never gonna find one this fast, like, you waited to the last minute." And Chelsea was working hard, going above and beyond. I know. Chelsea started smoking cigarettes, and I understand why. Because she was she didn't smoke them for but she smoked a few. And I realized I contributed to that. Let's see the ring again. I know, let me show you guys. It's hard to see on, it's so, so pretty. I love it so much. It's so perfect. It's literally above and beyond what I even was dreaming. Chelsea was under the gun. Yeah, Chelsea was doing a lot. So when I was upset about, that there wasn't a ring, I called Chelsea and I'm like, I can't believe it. And so she was put in this, like, position where she's like, I want to calm you down and tell you there is a ring and that the ring is in the works and that you're gonna love it. But then she also can't ruin the surprise. So then she's like, well, when I talked about it with her after, she was like, so I just started hooting and hollering with you. And she's like, I can't believe him. And then Chelsea's husband in the background's like, what happened? And Chelsea's like, there's no ring. And he's like, what? And he's like cracking up in the background because obviously he knows. Um, and I'm like, so, you know, I obviously did not see the ring until the day of the wedding. But before we left, there was also, this miscommunication that had happened during that conversation a couple weeks ago where I was freaking out about the ring was about his ring. And now he doesn't want to wear a ring. And, I've accepted that. And he's got his reasoning. and but I was like, well, maybe we can get you like a silicone ring for you to like wear that day or if you ever want to. And he had said that they sell them on base. And, I probably misinterpreted and there was a miscommunication. So I was under the impression that he was also bringing his own ring. So then we're about to leave. And I ask about his ring and um, there isn't one. And I start, like I'm, like 30 seconds away from crashing out, and my sister's there. My sister's like, "No, no, don't worry." He said he can get a tattoo of a ring on his finger. He could. Maybe for an anniversary, we could do something like that. Um, and so then I'm like, "There's no time to get a ring." And my sister's like, "Listen, you probably have a ring that fits him." I'm like, "Why would I have a ring that fits him?" And she's like, "I don't know. Go look. You probably have a ring that fits him." And then I randomly, like, remember that I have a Ziploc bag filled with a ton of, like, costume jewelry rings because my fingers are so small. I, like, buy these things, like, I'll see, like, "Oh, these are cute." I'll buy, like, a pack of them, and then none of them fit me. And then instead of throwing them out, apparently I've been having a collection. And so then we actually did have a ring that fit him for him to at least wear for that day. And it worked out perfectly. It was amazing that the ring fit. And, to kind of sidetrack for a second is like also like really everything falling into place. And like this whole experience has like just showed me about everything falling into place. Like, so him missing that first flight because of the delay, but then getting on the second flight. And my sister was bringing up like kind of like a Deepak Chopra quote or something that she was talking about and really said that like, well, everything is like the big dominoes falling into place. And you don't know every single thing that happens. There's other dominoes in the game that are falling into place, but you as one domino can't see what's happening with the other dominoes out there. So we were saying basically like him not getting on that first flight, who knows the person who got his seat on standby, where they were going, what they needed to do. And then him getting on that flight that he wasn't really supposed to get on because they had already told him he was taking a flight getting in the next morning. That person who maybe missed their flight or missed their connecting flight for the one that he got on, then that's another domino falling into place. So that's like someone else, missing their flight was the domino that needed to fall for him to get on the flight to be able to get to LA to get to the wedding. And so like there's always these things that are happening without our knowing. And these things that are inconveniences or things that are like derailing our plans or stressing us out. It's like all of these things are dominoes of a bigger picture that we could never know. Like, someone can get like the feeling like, I need to reach out to somebody. And, you know, it might not make sense exactly why, but maybe that other person needed that at that point. That other person or something in that person's life needed that. So it is like all of these, and even too, when with our own stuff, but also with other stuff that affects us in life, other people's things changing, other people's plans changing, things that we want to do or don't want to do happening in a certain way is also the dominoes falling into place. So, that was really like all of these things falling into place was showing that. So then we get to Santa Barbara. It's amazing. Um, my friends Jenn and AJ, they got this beautiful inn and it was just like so cute, so special. And they got that because they were coming from Arizona. And, Jenn has been my friend for so long and she's so sweet and so thoughtful. And she was like, wanted to get like a really sweet, cute little place to get ready and make sure that I could take some pictures and stuff there and like touch up my makeup. And it was so cute, so special. And everything was just so chill. Like, I mean, with the exception of me almost crashing out about the ring, but then it being instantly, even something like that, me buying a bunch of like rings, costume jewelry rings that aren't going to fit me. Yeah, that's annoying. I'm like, damn, another one doesn't fit me. Oh, I got this other pack. None of them fit me. Little did I know that was gonna be a ring on my wedding day. like all of these little things that are annoyances and inconveniences and things like that. So, I'm getting ready at Jen's. And so Jenn and my friend Eden really wanted a first look. And I used to work at weddings. I've worked at a lot of weddings, which is kind of, I think, a big part of the reason why I'm not super into a lot of the wedding traditional stuff is because I really kind of see, you know, and I'm in my book as well. Thank you guys for getting copies. Write a review if you've gotten it. Write a review on Amazon, please. But in the book, I talk about a lot of the stuff related to weddings is really around like consumerism and stuff. So there's things that like to me, I didn't really see the value of. But oh, Neil, you just got it. Oh, great. I'm so excited for you to read it. So, but I was really shown by the people in my life that a lot of these things around weddings are very important. And like say, for example, a proposal. So we had never done like a regular proposal. It was kind of like, I mean, a little bit like Married at First Sight. It was kind of like, oh, okay, well, we're together and we're going to get married. Okay. And it just like was instantly that thought. It wasn't like, okay, now there needs to be then this, it was like we were together and there were more together, So it wasn't like this question, or at least, on my side, there was no question that like this was here. This was it. Like this was here to stay. And so there was never like a real official proposal. And my friend Eden and also my friend Chelsea, and I'm sure Jen too, they wanted me to have like a proposal. And I'm like, these things are so like, I'm like, these are like things that people do. Like, is it important? You know, I'm like, what does it matter? We love each other. We're going to get married. And they're like, no, this is important. This is like when a man bends down and looks up at you and, makes a commitment in this way. They're like, this is something that has been hijacked by consumerism, has been hijacked by these industries. But they're like, no, like this is an important rite of passage that needs to happen. And so, I was like, you know, uh, again, not realizing what even is right for me or anything because never dreamed of being married. A lot of people, like when they're younger, they dream of their dream wedding and things like that. And I didn't even think I was ever going to have a wedding or ever be married. So I never thought of those things. And like I said, I've worked at a lot of weddings because I used to work for an event planner. So I never really saw that much of, and especially to the weddings that I worked for were these crazy Persian Jewish weddings in Beverly Hills and Bel Air, which are just like so, 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 so over the top that it kind of like made me think like these things really don't. A lot of times I'd look at these couples and be like, do they even like each other? Like, do they even know half of the people at this party? Like, yeah, everything is amazing looking, but like the vibe is not quite right. And so I was like, I don't need like a proposal or anything like that. And so whatever, my also they wanted the first look, which is a big thing at like weddings where like, the groom sees the bride in the dress for the first time. And I was like, it doesn't matter. I'll just get dressed right there. Like, but actually, thank God, because I'm a Leo and I don't like to be seen not looking good, I was putting shapewear on. So then I was like, no, I'm not going to put a shapewear out here because it's all awkward to be like pulling yourself into this like super tight, awkward thing that looks ridiculous. I'm like, oh, no, no, no. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna go get ready over there because I'm trying to get my shapewear on, and then I'm gonna put the sticky boob things so that everything stays in place. And so I was like, you know what? This is not gonna look good. you're right. I'm gonna go and do that privately, and then I'm just gonna come out after. I'm gonna look good. So thankfully, it was me being, that versus like, um, you know, the first look. So I come out and, in my dress and my shoes and everything for the first time. And like my sister and Chelsea and Jenn are all like ready to like take pictures of like, the first look, seeing the bride for the first time. And so, which was amazing, and it was so beautiful. And then they're like, "No, go back. I didn't get a good picture of it. Like, walk back and we'll do the first look again." They're like, "No, go back so we can get like a better picture of you coming out." And um I'm like, "Okay." And so, me, I'm like, "Well, sure. I'm ready for my day of pictures anyway." And you said the girls know what's best. It's true. I needed that. I needed that feminine support. And so I walk out, and to my surprise and shock, he gets down on one knee and proposes to me 1 hour before the wedding. And then that's when I get to see the ring for the first time. And I was so shocked. Like Jen called me yesterday and was like, "Oh my God, you were so shocked when you saw the ring." And I was like, "I really was." First of all, I didn't know if there was a ring. And then I was like trusting there was a ring. And then like when I saw it, it was just like so beautiful and like so much ex- exactly what I like, even though, like I'm saying, like, I don't care about it, but then also, I like something, unique. You said, "Were you emotional?" All the surprises. You know, I can't really cry in front of people like that, so I was emotional, I was excited, I was happy, I was surprised, but it really didn't I didn't get emotional until then we were, back at my place together and fully alone. Then that's when I started to get more emotional. But, at that point, I mean, I was definitely my emotions were all flying, but I was not crying, because it is hard for me to, cry, especially around people. And so I was so shocked with the ring. It was so beautiful, so much like better than I was dreaming of. And it was perfect and the style that I like. And it was just so perfectly picked. And then I got to hear from Chelsea that she had been going back and forth trying to find the right ring. And but then he bought this ring before asking if it was like right. And, I think that that's amazing too, because then it's like he really did know what actually was the right ring and didn't like need like the confirmation that it was the right ring. So, like, I loved that he then also, like, pulled the trigger on the ring and it was the perfect one. And so I was completely shocked. I do have to get it resized. So I'm pretty sad, even though like I just got it, I became very attached to it already. So I am, a little sad about getting it resized. So, but it has to, fit perfect and also for it to get engraved. So it's nice. We'll get to do both of those. And then I have it back forever. So then we go to the courthouse and it was so amazing and like meeting up with more of my friends. And so there was 10 friends of mine there who are now his friends, now his family, some of them meeting him for the first time. And, it was very quick. So um, it was so amazing, and it was such, like, the perfect group of people there. The people who were the ones that were able to make it and to be the group there were, like, um, a lot of that group were mostly couples, and they're also the couples that, like, I always look to as, like, "This is a good couple. This is amazing," you know? And so, it was so amazing. I was so grateful, and, now, of course, my husband is not, someone who does social media, um, takes pictures in that way. He's not that person. So, um, Yeah. So he was a great sport, even with his, like, torn muscle in his leg, which nobody would have known because there was no indicator of it. He it obviously hurt, but no one would have known that it hurt, and then he took about 10,000 photos with me, which was nice, and that was definitely, beyond his limit, and I'd be like, "You know what? He's almost done. He's done taking photos, like, we that's it. After this one, we're gonna be done." And then everybody's like, "Let's go to the bell tower. Let's take him up here. Let's go to the shade and take it here. Let's go and take it here." And, like, this is the other thing too, like, we didn't have, like, a wedding photographer. Everybody was the wedding photographer that was there, and everybody, like, had, like, amazing pictures and, like, different styles. And again, it's like everything falling into place perfectly. And then we went to, lunch together, and then that was nice because, like, then that was, like, then we really got to kind of, and I mean, it was great. We went before that, obviously, we in Santa Barbara, you fill out the paperwork and sign the paperwork, and then they bring you outside and you do vows out on the lawn, and everybody gets to watch. And that all of it was so beautiful and, like, so perfect, and, like, it was amazing that just to have everything perfectly fall into place and not need to plan a lot, not need to do a lot, not need to, like, which is so, you guys have who have read the book, it's still very true to, like, the stuff that I talk about in those chapters around, like, marriage consumerism stuff, where, like, people start to focus on all the wrong things and all the things that don't matter when it comes to marriages, and it, like, takes away from, like, what's really meant to happen there. And of course, my Leo self wanted the good pictures, because we're not gonna, you know, ever do that day again. And who knows? What if one of us um, becomes senile or something like that and needs to look back? What if the memories are not always up there? What if we need a reminder? So I did want pictures to encapsulate that day. But then after we did that, after we did the ceremony, after we did the pictures, then it was like, okay, now we're just gonna chill, have lunch. It was amazing. Let everybody just, like, relax, hang out. And um it was funny. We really didn't take, like, any pictures during lunch. There was, like, 1 or 2 pictures taken during lunch because it was just, like, the time for everybody to, like, just be in the moment. Oh, and I almost face planted uh, before our appointment with the clerk. Like, literally 5 minutes before they were supposed to go see the clerk, we're, like, going into a wrong door, and then we're going into another wrong door, and then, like, all the pavement is, like, you know, like, stone. So, I'm just going down. I'm like, my ankles, my friend said that my ankle, she was like, she doesn't know how I didn't break my ankle because she said she saw it just go sideways. And so I'm like, Jen, you can never have too many pictures, right? And then where my ankle is just like, and I'm resisting the fall, so I just keep kind of falling more, but, like, delaying hitting the ground, but I also, like, cannot get myself up because my ankle is like this. And thank God, I don't know how Ryan, Chelsea's husband, so Chelsea has my back so hard that Ryan has my back that hard. And, like, it was like, I don't know, Ryan was holding the tripod, like, for Chelsea throughout the day. I don't know that the tripod vanished from his hands, and all of a sudden, he just, like, grabs me by the armpit and, like, stops me from falling all the way. Oh my god. Yeah, so then an old lady fell. That was true. I was already inside, but then I heard that the old lady fell after when we were inside. Listen, those floors are jagged over there. And so it was amazing. The day was amazing, and it was so great to have, the right people there, the perfect crowd there, having, and it was also very, like, different stages of my life. Like, it was, you know, from when I worked in the weed shop, from when I worked in restaurants, from when I worked in the salon, from when I wasn't working anywhere, from now with the JK Ultra stuff and my sister throughout all my stages of life. So it was interesting that it was like all of these like different, because so much of what I've been talking about, and I talk about it, in the book a lot too, and like some of the later chapters, and it's been a big topic over this last year for me, is really like kind of the parts work and pulling all the parts of yourself back and pulling all the parts of yourself together. And it was just like amazing to have the witnesses of all of these different people who've seen all these different versions of myself to now be there and like hold a space for me to now like graduate into this new chapter of life that I've never done. I don't uh have any plans for, because it's all brand new to me. And like being able to like go into a new chapter of life and just be open and trusting the process and knowing that it's like, okay, well, wherever we end up, we're together, and wherever we're brought, that's where we're supposed to be. And just being able to like go in the flow and crazy be a wife. So afterwards, Jen was asking if I feel any different. And I'm like, I do actually. You know what it feels like? And like, so I have talked to some of my other friends that are married since then, and they'll ask the same thing and be like, does it feel different? And some people say yes, some people say no. And, one of my other friends had said, like, no, it didn't feel different after getting married. Like, there wasn't a shift. And not that there's anything wrong with that, because, everybody has their own experience with everything is different. But for me, I actually did feel very different, like pretty much like immediately, and more over the next couple days. It like really started to feel different for me because I am just such like a lone person, like the lone wolf. Even though I have a million friends, people would not think that I'm like a lone person because I have a lot of friends. But still, it always like comes back to like me, to like my individual path. And that, like, really at the end of the day, it was like, as much as I have loyalty to friends and to everything, I don't or didn't have a loyalty to like my path being changed by other people's stuff or needs or something like that. And it was kind of like, at the end of the day, like, this is my life, this is my decisions, this is where I'm supposed to end up. If something doesn't align, then I'm willing to let it go or pass it along or leave with love or things like that. And that has just kind of always been me being the type of individual person that I am. And it doesn't sound like I'm like a lone wolf person because I have so many friends and because I have such a large community. But actually, like at the end of the day, that is how I still made all of my decisions and operate. And I love to hang out. I love to do things. But at the same time, I was like always like, at the end of the day, it's only me. And at the end of the day, it really is only, even though having a big community of friends, I'm like, it still is, I'm still just me. And this is, you know, and so that was like the biggest shift. Like I feel like kind of like in my energy field that there's someone else there. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I've never, you said the restaurant story. Wait, which restaurant story? Um, so, I felt that like now I'm like, now I make a decision. I want to write. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Everything fell into place. So, okay. So, like 2 days or 3 days before, 2 days before the wedding. So, like a week before, we had found where we're going to go to lunch. And it was very difficult to find a place to go for lunch because in Santa Barbara, a lot of the restaurants close from 2:30 to 5 p.m. for the turnaround, and we were gonna be going around 3. So, everywhere that we were trying to look was closed during those hours, and then the places that were opened couldn't host a party of 12 people. And so it was, like, stressful, like, where are we gonna end up for lunch? And then finally we found this place called, Azul Cocina, and it's like 1 block from the courthouse. We're like, "Okay, we get it." My sister calls, we get the reservation, she tells them this is a wedding. They're like, "Okay, we're gonna give you a beautiful table out on the patio." We're like, "Okay, amazing." 2 days before the wedding, they call my sister, and it's the owner of the restaurant, and they're like, "So, unfortunately, we have a buyout that day, and another wedding party has bought out the whole restaurant." And I'm like, as I'm listening to my sister's voice note, my heart drops. I'm like, "Oh my god, where are we gonna go? It's 2 days away. We already had a hard time finding a place that could have us a week ago." And then she keeps going on the voice note and she's like, "But they said that they're gonna give you this private room and they'll have you off to the side of this party, so you'll get the private room, and usually the private room is gonna be like $4,000 just for the room charge. And then, obviously everything that you do inside of the room, you have to pay for." And so she was like, "This charge for the room, they're going to waive it and they're going to give you the room for free because they know that you also have a wedding that you're doing." And so it ended up working out perfectly because then we were in this like quiet room that was only us. And the wedding outside was funny too because they were getting married at the same time at the courthouse, but it was a really big wedding that they did. And so it was funny, like, and the other bride's name was Destiny. And so it was just like this very interesting thing that they were taking pictures where we wanted to take pictures. And then Eden goes over and she's like, "Can we get in this spot after you and take some pictures?" And then right after, they're all in the restaurant. And then we're like, "Can we get in this spot right after?" Because then we're back in with them. So then I actually, when I went to the restroom, I did talk to the other bride. And so, like, again, like kind of coming back to this concept of like these dominoes falling into place, right? Like this other wedding buying out the restaurant that day made us able to have a private room and to be able to like have our own container and just be able to talk to each other. And it is easier when you're in a private, quiet room for a table that long to all be able to like communicate with each other because it's not like noisy or anything. And so it was amazing. Everything working out. Okay, so I want to tell you guys about my party. So also on the solstice, on the actual solstice, my friends Eden and Chelsea arranged for the most amazing, beautiful party ever. Like I couldn't believe it. So again, Chelsea working in the shadows. Even though she's talking to me every day, every day. You said show pictures. Go to my Instagram. Go to my Instagram. You said Evan was definitely right about that day being astrologically perfect. Yeah, all the pics are on IG. And so oh, and some people were asking me, earlier about, a bunch of people were DMing me earlier about, if I have a registry. So I'm moving, I'm downsizing everything. Like, I do not, um I cannot take anything more than what I'm already taking. Like, I already, um but some people who were asking about a registry said, "Okay." I was like, "Well, I can't take stuff. Like, I don't have the space to like move it, and I would rather just get things later after I move." So, am I going to do RV life? No, no, I'm not. But I'm not trying to take. I don't need any of my furniture or stuff like that. So um, because my husband's already um, his place is already set up and it's already established, and the only thing that's going to change is the room that becomes, um, my office streaming room. So, yeah. So, I don't have a registry. Some people said they would still like to give me something if that's what you'd like to do. Then the only thing that I would suggest is my Venmo. Oh wow, yeehaw! Thanks. So it's funny, people on YouTube don't see it, but then like people will send gifts, and it puts a cowboy hat on me. Okay, so if somebody wants to do that, yes. Another thing you could do is you could buy my book if you want to do that. Um, or you could do the Venmo. It's JK_ultra. And I'll post it in the comments. I'll post it in the comments on the YouTube video. If anybody wants to do that, obviously it's up to you, no pressure. JK_ultra. So if you guys want to do that, of course, appreciated. And I love it. I appreciate it. Um, but yeah, I'm not going to be doing a registry because I don't want to acquire any new stuff when I'm actually getting um, rid of most of the things. Or yes, Natasha, you could buy my book. Or if you've already bought my book, you can write a review on Amazon, or at least just put the rating. If you're not comfortable writing the review, just put the rating at least. You said the ring. I know. It's so beautiful. But yeah, I'll put the Venmo in the comments. But okay, let me talk about the party because the party was incredible. Um your husband has a nice ring to it. It does. I got very used to saying it very quickly for someone who was never going to be married. I got very used to it very quick. Um So my party on the solstice was so amazing. Like the day before, I went and got my hair done, and then we drove down to Laguna, and Eden has the most amazing, insane, beautiful house. Like it is so beautiful. It was her perfect manifestation. It's like the crystals alone are breathtaking. Like, it is all, like, beautiful pieces, the energy's amazing, the view, the the bedrooms, the guest rooms, like, the pool, like, everything is so, 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 like, the best, and, I mean, every time that I go there, I feel like I have a quantum leap. So, to be able to then have my party there and having Eden, which is an incredible party planner and host, and then having Chelsea working in the shadows alongside of her, it was so beautiful. So we did aura photos. And so she has an aura photo machine. So we were doing the aura photos. And this is like, a bachelorette bridal party, but goddess style. This is spiritual. This is elevated. This is not, strippers. Not that there's anything wrong with that if you want to do that, but this was a very like elevated. And again, I didn't think that I needed a bridal party or a bachelorette party. I'm like, who cares? Like, that's fine. Like, why do I need to do that? But again, thank you to, my girls who are like, no, this is a rite of passage where you're going from, you know, maiden, is that what it is? To a wife. That it's like you're going from one stage of life to another stage of life, and women are supposed to carry you through that. Women are supposed to hold the space for you to transition into the next stage of being a woman. And so again, another example of like something that the people who love me wanted me to experience that I didn't even know that I needed to experience. And it was so beautiful. It was like a goddess party, everybody dressed goddess like. And then there we did the aura photos, and as the party is still like kind of getting ready and we're like not dressed yet, I was drinking like a sparkling water out of a can, and I put it down somewhere and I couldn't find my drink. And Eden's house is beautiful. The last thing I want to do is leave a cold, sweating, perspiring can on her furniture somewhere. So I'm looking around like, how did I lose this drink? Where did it go? So I'm running around the house like trying to find the drink, and I'm kind of like frantic. But so my friend Tony, he kept coming up and I was like, "Oh, we have to send a video to Tony. Cuz so Tony is the one who got my wedding dress for me. He when we were in Tokyo, I had already gotten these two other dresses that I ordered, but they were both like I wasn't vibing with them. Like I kind of didn't love either one of them and like both of them didn't feel right. So when I was in Bali and Tokyo with Tony and Nicolette, they were saying like, "Well, if you don't love the dress, like let's find one." And Nicolette's like, "No, we are not leaving Japan without finding your dress." And because we had started looking in Bali and there wasn't really like the right dress, and I wanted something short, as you guys see. And I wanted a short dress. I wanted something that was like very simple. Um, Fashionable, but, like, classic. Like, I just wanted something simple but short and something that looked appropriate for a wedding. Oh, hope your wedding is just as magical as you are. Thank you. It really was. And so, as we're, like, couple hours from going to the airport in Tokyo, Nicolette's like, "No, we need to go more stores." She's like, We can't stop until we get this dress." And then we ended up finding my dress, and it was beautiful. And it was perfect, and I loved it. So, I had spent these 2 weeks with Tony, and then, so I was saying, like, as we were getting ready for the goddess party, this is the type of, like, clothes that Tony likes to wear, and I'm like, "We need to send a video to Tony." And then I'm sitting next to Eden, and I start hearing all the bossy people that love you. Yes. So, I hear out of, like, Eden's phone, he's like, "Hello, hello, Eden. This is Tony Ghazi." And I'm like, "Oh my god. We're talking about Tony, and he just pops up." I'm like, "Isn't that crazy?" I have no idea. I'm running around the house looking for this can of soda that I left somewhere, and then I'm like, "I must have left it over here. There's no way. I must have left it over here." So I start, like, walking over towards the front door, and it opens, and I see Nicolette walk in, and then 2 seconds later, I see Tony walk in, and I'm just like, I cannot say anything. I cannot process. Like, I am like, what do you is that you?" Like, obviously, it's them because who else? And they're so unique, and they dress so unique and look so unique, and I'm like I was just frozen, stunned of like, How are you here right now?" So, I catch up, and I'm like, "Oh my god, what are you guys doing here?" And then they knew the whole time that we were in Bali together that they were coming to the party. I was like, "How did you guys keep it a secret?" And Chelsea was like, "Did you really? Were you really surprised?" And Nicolette was like, I was saying, Jen's psychic. She's going to know. Jen always knows things. She always gets it. She's going to know. We can't hide it." And I literally had no idea. I was like, I couldn't, my brain couldn't even catch up with my eyes. It was so good. Best surprise. Can't believe we pulled it off. I know. And then I did find the drink. I left it outside. So thank God I didn't actually make it all the way outside to find it because then I would have really, I mean, it was still going to be a surprise to me, but it was, th- they were probably trying to keep me contained for the surprise. And I was running around. I'm like, yeah, 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 I'll be right there. I got to find this soda that's probably like leaving a mess somewhere. And so it was so amazing. So we did the aura photos and then everything was so beautiful. We had like took cool pictures out on the deck. Chelsea was taking these cool pictures. And then we did a sound bath. So Fairy, my friend Fairy Wolf, she did an incredible sound bath, but it was beyond a sound bath. This was sound medicine. This was like a shamanic sound journey. It was so beautiful, so amazing, like transformative. And then we did candle making. So Nadine from Living Libations sent a bunch of um, oils, essential oils, and we did we made candles. So we like infused them with intention and put the oils in it. I actually burned mine um, after everybody left. And then it was just me and my husband here. We burned it on my altar um, the first night that we were alone after the wedding. And then, oh, thanks. Thank you for the super chat. That's so sweet. So then we also, I mean, it was so amazing, so thoughtful. They also had people make videos for me for the people who couldn't be there. So they had my husband make one, which was so cute. And I know is also like not, um, he's not a person that probably like, I don't know, maybe has ever made a video of himself like that. Maybe before, but I would say probably pretty rare for him to then set up a camera, set up his phone and talk into it. I would imagine that that's not something that he's really done before or hasn't done many times. And he was great. They also got Sarah Breskman Cosme to do it. And as you guys know, last year when I did the hypnosis with Sarah, when I walked in the door, she said, I had a dream about you last night and you were married next year. And I'm like, married next year? The ayahuasca just told me I'm a lesbian. I haven't been with anybody in 3 years. I don't even know anybody that I want to be with. What do you mean I'm going to be married next year? And she's like, no, I had a dream. It was a prophetic dream. You're getting married next year. I'm like, this is crazy. You're insane. So, of course, Sarah was right. So she sent a fun video that she was like, I told you so. Dolores told her, right? True. Maybe that was like a bit of a Dolores connection too. And so, yes, she was right. Also, Nadine Artemis from Living Libations sent one. JJ and Desiree Hertog sent it. My sister sent one. My friend Andrea had sent one. We got one from Evan. And it was just so amazing and so beautiful. My friend Paige sent one. She was supposed to make it, but then couldn't make it last minute. So it was just like amazing. And so after, hold on. I have to verify. I have to do a CAPTCHA, and I usually fail these. Okay. Oh, you're on YouTube over there. Yeah, it's Tuesday night. Yeah. Yeah, come on over to YouTube. And so after the party, which was just like the best ever, it was so amazing. Um, Roots, Laura from Roots was there, and she uh Laura's amazing, and it was so good. Like, you guys see, sometimes she'll be here in the lives, in the chat too, and it's like, Laura's amazing. My friend Loren was there. It was just such an amazing group of people. We had, Jess, House and Habit there, and, after I posted it, some people were like, "I can't," but like, commenting because people are so triggered by her. It's so, funny, that reaction that people have to her, and they were like, I can't believe you're friends with her. That makes you suspicious. I'm like, what's suspicious is you think some person that you have seen on the internet that you know better than I do. And so then so we had this amazing night. We went around the fire. We like released stuff into the fire, did like a final fire ceremony. And while we like confused our candles more with the intentions, it was so beautiful. Like, I'm probably even forgetting things. Like, the food was amazing. Everything was so good. It was so beautiful. The tablescape was gorgeous. So, um, Loren is good at doing like a tablescape. So like in the past, we've done like a conspiracy party and she puts like all conspiracy stuff on the table. This one was like goddess. So it was like all like the crystals. It was so beautiful, so incredible. Everything. Like, I'm probably forgetting like a million things still. The next day we stayed over. Tony and Nicolette stayed over. But the next morning when Chelsea and I were in bed, we were waking up, she was like, and it was really beautiful, like the different takeaways, you know, from different people. And like one person was like, the takeaway that I'm having from like your story of, meeting someone and then being married 6 months later, she's like, "It's just how quick timelines change and how quick things change and how what's meant for us could be right around the corner, and we don't even know it's there." And I was like, "Wow, like, that's so beautiful, it's so true." And then, Chelsea's takeaway, what she was telling me the next day was, and of course, she was working her butt off between I mean, so it's so funny. I hung out with one of our mutual friends, and she's like, "Oh, so Chelsea's your maid of honor?" And I went, "Oh my god, she is." But I never asked her. I said, "Oh my god, that's so messed up." The next day, I call Chelsea and I'm like, "Oh my god, I was hanging out and then someone asked if you're my maid of honor." And I'm like, "Oh my god, of course. I didn't think to ask. I didn't remember that that was a thing. I didn't." I was like, "Of course you are." And she's like, "This is a testament to our friendship." She's like, "Because her husband asked if she's the maid of honor." And she's like, "Well, yeah, of course I'm the maid of honor. She didn't ask me, but of course, duh." And so it was funny that I was like, that was like my reaction too, that I was like, "Oh my god, I forgot that this is a thing. I forgot that you ask someone." But I also like, duh, you of course, yeah. So it was, like, so funny. She's like, "Oh my god," she's like, "This is, like, the most, like, Jen thing ever, like, because I do everything last minute." Like, she was like, "This was, like, so, like, Jen coded because I literally wait to the last minute to do things." And she's like, "You literally," she's like, "I've been the maid of honor, putting out fires, doing heavy lifting for 2 months." And she's like, "It's very you to ask me 3 days before the wedding." Yeah, without even saying tradition without the tradition, right. Everything went so into place. And so Chelsea's takeaway, which was so beautiful, was she was like, watching this last year of me surrendering more and allowing more and calling in wow and calling in just things like this idea of, I mean, a lot came from when I first did the ayahuasca at Rhythmia and then was, like, reinforced again with the with the Solterra experience, but it really, like, took time for a lot of those things to really integrate, but from that last 2 years, I've been really, like, integrating the idea of, like, you know and it was interesting, she asked me, like, "Well, what do you wanna get for your presents or whatever?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I want for nothing." Like, I can't think of what I want. It's also part of the reason why I didn't make a registry, like, I can't think of what I want because I feel like the universe constantly knows better than I do what is right for me, and I keep being shown that, like, whatever I think I might want or need is less than what I actually would want or need, and not saying nobody does the work because I've been, so lucky that I've had these amazing friends in this amazing community working their butt off to give me a beautiful experience. Have my husband run to all these different, jewelry stores so that he could find a ring that wasn't round or square. And, so I'm like, "I don't want it round or square." And so it was perfect, actually. It's neither round nor square. And so I wish it could be seen. And so the next day, when Chelsea and I were in bed, she was like, "I've really watched everything unfold so perfectly and continue to unfold perfectly, and you're just allowing it to happen. You're just allowing things to fall into place, and it's happening above and beyond, and everything's working out." And it's like, so then after that, I was on the phone with my husband like a day later and was like telling him like the stuff that Chelsea had said. And he was like, "Wow, that's so interesting that you're talking about this kind of wanting for nothing and everything the universe knows better than you do. And just being like, like, what type of desserts you want? I don't know what type of desserts I want. Whatever is gonna be good. Whatever you're gonna pick. Do you like this or this? I don't know. I like all smells. Like, which essential oils do you want? They're all good. I don't know. I like them all. And just this like really like release of things. And in some ways, it's because I had never really put thought into these things. So I didn't have a lot of ideas. But also, I'm in a very much place of surrender. And so then I was telling him that. And I was like, wow, that's really what Chelsea has taken away from this. And he was like, wow, I was listening to a podcast today. And he was like, I wasn't really resonating. But then there was this one quote that someone said that something along the lines of, a master does nothing, but everything gets done. And he was like, wow, like really what you're describing is like mastery. And he said that when he listened to it, it kind of made him stop and reflect because, I assume why he really reflected on that a lot is because he's someone who does strive for mastery, but he's also somebody who likes to get shit done. So it probably kind of was like, huh, how can you master something without getting anything done? How does everything get done if nothing gets done? How does the things get done if you do nothing? How can you master something without practice? So it was like sitting with him, and he said he was like reflecting on it, and he was really like trying to sit with that thought. And then I call and I'm like, so yeah, everything worked out 100 times better than I imagined. Everything has worked out a million times better than I could have dreamed of. The party was above and beyond anything I could have ever thought or planned for myself or done. And not to say nobody does work, right? Not to say nobody works and everybody does nothing, but there's this trusting of like, what if in the shadows, or what if there is that other domino piece, or what if there's things are falling into place and working out exactly as they should. And this whole experience has been that way for me from the day that I met him, or even getting on that cruise. There was many reasons for me to not get on that cruise. And I was like, well, some people had already bought tickets. I don't want to like let them down. And, I know that there was people who specifically bought tickets to see me. And I was like, well, if I don't go, like, then that's kind of messed up that these people like went on a cruise and wanted to see me speak. And then now I don't show up. So I did want to cancel on the cruise, but then I was like, that would be messed up. So I'm going to go anyway. You said, oh, you met on the cruise, right? We did. We did meet on the cruise. But so there was like everything was falling into place, how he ended up on the cruise, how I ended up on the cruise. The moment that we spoke, all of these things, like everything is above and beyond what I could have made or dreamed up myself. And the whole experience has been this way. And just life has been falling into place this way. And is everything solved? Do I have nothing to figure out? No. There's things, of course. But I'm like, of course, they're getting figured out. They are being figured out in one way or another. It's true. Neutrality is powerful. Right. Mhm. So, let me see. Was there anything else that I wanted to talk about? Probably, but that was you know, yeah. If you wanna see photos, you said, "Why is your mic not plugged in?" It is plugged in. This is a different cord. It's plugged in here. You guys got this. It's true. You're learning to truly trust the universe. I know. The trust in the universe um continues to amaze me. Okay. So go check out the photos on my Instagram and go follow me on Instagram if you're not. So, okay. Let me tell you about dominoes falling into place. So, oh, right, and Pepperdine in the middle of all of this, right, and between the party and the wedding, I spoke at Pepperdine University and talked about authenticity with teenagers and did a Q&A about, like, being a content creator and being authentic. I know, I actually I blocked it out. I blocked it out that I spoke and gave a lecture at a university, um, 2 days before the wedding and 2 days after the party. I completely forgot about that. That was amazing. Was this the journaling something that you would consider a sign you made before life? I think so. I think the journaling thing was. Wait, that was during the same time? Yeah, I just did that. I didn't even post about Pepperdine. And then, then the next day after Pepperdine, that's when my sister came in, and then that's when the flights were getting delayed and all of this. I forgot about that. Everything falling into place. Okay. So what else? Oh, so on my Instagram, the photos, go check them out. Um, now I noticed since I posted my photo of the wedding earlier today, I lost about 200 followers. It was like 75.2, 75.1, 75.0. I don't know what it'll be when I get back to Instagram after this. But you know what? This is dominoes falling into place because the haters are removing themselves. The haters remove themselves. So, was there a time in your life where you were a control freak? No, I've always struggled to control. Why did you lose followers? Because you have a man now? I think people are just miserable. Because also too, when I was in Bali and I was like looking hot in Bali with my little vacation outfits, um, I lost like 400 followers when I was posting on my story, my outfits and stuff. So I don't know. Most of my followers are women. So I don't know. Whatever it is. I mean, I can't analyze what people do or whatever. Maybe people are triggered, whatever it is. But yeah, haters will remove themselves. They've let themselves out. They found the way. Okay, yeah. And then like I said, if I don't have a registry, if some people wanted to let me put it in here in the chat. That's the Venmo. If you guys want to, it's up to you. Some people were asking, some people were saying like, "Oh, I'd still like to send you something." If you do, that's probably the only place that you know, I'd be able to receive something. I mean, maybe if you use like Cash App or something, but that's if you guys are feeling it. If you want to, it's up to you. What's my IG is JKUltra_Jenn. I loved watching your journey. It's inspiring. Thank you. Or lesbians that thought they had a chance. Oh, dang. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for sending it here. You're so sweet. Oh, you radiate hope for the rest of us. Thanks. Mm, I have loved to see you go through so many changes and phases. Oh, thanks. You guys are sweet. Mm, right. Block Kevin. Your wish is my command. We are blocking Kevin. You have been granted your wish. Love hearing your story. Your lives are always the best. Thank you guys. We'll see. What do you guys want to talk about next week? We'll figure that out. Um, but of course, another book in the works. Yes, I do have another book that I'm starting. You caught the chat yesterday. So I had a TikTok live the other day that was juicy, 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 juicy. Like people are still talking about it on TikTok. Everybody was saying like, please, you need to save this and upload it to Instagram. It was all my dirty laundry from like my earlier life, and it was juicy, juicy. You said you caught it, and it was amazing. Yeah, it was. So I don't know. I'm gonna be moving to Louisiana. Yeah, it was a good one. Okay, guys. So all of those things. Get the book. If you've already got the book, write a review. Like I said, I'm only going to be accepting the QHHT sessions throughout August. And then I don't know for the rest of the year what I'll be doing with that. So, oh, you said it was fascinating. Respect you even more now. Thank you. So if you guys did want to do QHHT, then think about consider August because after September, I'm going to make sure that it's blocked off on my schedule. But like from September 1st, I'm going to have a break. I need to move and get set up and all of these things and have a lot of changes in life. So if it's something that you've been thinking about doing, then you can do that. Yeah, I know. Ken is included now. He is. Ken is very included now. When do I move? September. Your hubs got engaged after 6 months, and now you've been together 21 years. I love these stories. I love it. Okay, guys. Well, thanks so much. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed the story and all of that. And then next week, we'll see what we're going to talk about. Also, consider joining the Substack because mhm. Do a second part of the Aubrey Marcus. He made a response interview. A friend of mine actually saw Aubrey Marcus recently and said he was a mess. So I don't know. She felt bad for him. All right, guys. Anyway, love y'all, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.